Spotify stock made a new 52-week high and is one of the 4 stock buys that we made in November. In this video, I'll cover the 4 stocks and go into the charts at the buy, as well as where they're trading right now. Also, we'll go through their sales and earnings data as well. I'm Larry Tentarelli, president and founder of Blue Chip Daily Trend Report.
Welcome to Blue Chip Daily, one of the industry's premier sources for high-level daily technical and trend analysis. Blue Chip Daily is ideal for both investors and traders of all time frames who want to be on the right side of major market moves and trends. We focus on over 750 large cap stocks, all major stock indices, over 70 exchange-traded funds, bonds, oil, gold, and Bitcoin. Sign up now for Blue Chip Daily and you will get access to real-time portfolio alerts, premium Twitter page with intraday alerts and commentary, the chart of the day best idea, daily video and report, and much more. Claim 30-day trial at www.bluechipdaily.com.
So we're going to take a look at the 4 stock that we bought for November. So Spotify Technology in the communication services sector, Advanced Micro Devices in technology, Eli Lilly in healthcare, and also Novo Nordisk in healthcare. Not covered in the video is going to be ETF buys also that we made for the month in S&P 500 ETF, NASDAQ 100 QQQ, tech sector ETF, and Treasury bond ETF. We might do a separate video for that shortly. We're still holding all of those positions. So we'll cover what we bought, sales and earnings data, the daily chart. So we'll get started with Spotify. This was our first single stock buy in November. We made the buy on November 1st. It's up about 9% since then. And as you probably know, Spotify is a worldwide leader in digital music. So one of the things that I go into when I take a position is I do look at what the company does, and I look at their sales and earnings data. 90 to 95% of what I do is based on the technical, the charts, moving averages, and price trend. But when I take a position in a stock, I do want to know what business the company is in, where they stand. And I do look at 2 factors. I look at their sales growth, and then I look at their profits. So quickly for Spotify, we'll dial into this. This is their quarterly income statement from finviz.com. So we can see for the last quarter, they reported sales of 3.65 billion versus 3.4 and 3.2 in the quarters before. So moving in the right direction. Gross profit 954 million versus 831 and 811, and then net income 70 million positive versus negative 328 and negative 241. So at least what we see is that sales and profits are moving in the right direction. And it's been my experience over the years that all other things being the same, that growing sales and growing profit is a positive for the stock price. So we'll take a look at the buy. We made the buy November 1st at 166.67. And then we'll go into the chart because the charts are my key focus. So if we take a look at the Spotify chart, this blue arrow is the day that we made the buy. And there's a couple things that we'll see on this chart. At the buy, it was trading over 4 rising moving averages. So what this tells me is that the stock is in an uptrend on multiple time frames. They just reported earnings the week before, big gap higher after earnings, pulled back, filled that price gap, which was good to see, and then started to trend higher. So the key thing that I wanted to see is I wanted to see Spotify start to close over 162, 163, because that had been prior resistance. 163, a few times under 160, 162. So I wanted to see this level get cleared. It did. We took our position and it's been working higher since then with a recent 52-week high. If we dial into the weekly chart, this tells a bigger story. And I tend to focus quite a bit on the weekly charts. And the reason is the weekly chart shows me what the overall trend is. And what I want to do is I want to get involved in charts that are in weekly uptrends. So if we take a look at the weekly chart for Spotify, we can see 4 rising weekly moving averages. The 4-week, which is the equivalent to the 20-day, the 10-week equivalent to the 50-day, 20-week equivalent to the 100-day, and then the green line is the 40-week, which is the equivalent to the 200. So what we can see is that the price right now trending over 4 rising weekly moving averages. The weekly moving averages are stacked on top of each other. We can see it's got a nice weekly base breakout that's underway and a weekly closing high going back to the beginning of 2022. So a very constructive price base that Spotify is starting to come out of right now. So we've raised the stop up to break even on that position. Stock number 2, Advanced Micro Devices. We made this by November 7th. It's up 7.5% since then. And AMD is a global leader in the semiconductor industry, and they're moving more also into artificial intelligence chip. If we look at the AMD data, revenue 5.8 billion versus 5.3, gross profit 2.2 billion versus 1.9, 1.8, and then net income 299 million versus 27 and negative 139. So once again, sales going in the right direction, profits going in the right direction. We made that by November 7th at 113.68. And if we take a look at the chart, you're going to see that there's quite a few similarities between this and the Spotify chart. So it's trading over 4 moving averages. 3 were rising at the time. AMD also recently reported earnings. It had a sharp move higher afterwards. And then what I wanted to see is this 111, 112 level had been resistance before. So what I look for is I want to see price start to close over a prior resistance level, which can often indicate a new potential uptrend is underway. So we got the close over 112. We took our position here, and that started to move higher as well on the chart. If we dial into the weekly chart, a lot of similarities between the Spotify chart. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rising weekly moving averages. We've got the moving averages, stacked on top of each other. Weekly base breakout over 112, 112.50, which was prior resistance, and just working higher into the upper right-hand corner of the screen. So we still have the position here. And it's trending in the right direction. So we can see a very similar chart with AMD as far as the weekly trend that we saw with Spotify. We've got 2 healthcare new positions started on the same day. Eli Lilly, November 8th. That's down about 1.1% from the buy. Eli Lilly is one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world, and they've got a very strong market share for the GLP-1 diabetes and obesity drugs. So we'll take a look at their financials. 9.4 billion in sales for the last quarter versus 8.3, 6.9. So sales growing quickly. Operating income 3.4 billion versus 2.2, 1.5. Operating income growing quickly. Also gross profits, we didn't go there. 7.6 versus 6.5. And then net income. Net income showed a negative for the quarter versus positive before, but they had some one-time charges in the quarter for some IP R&D charges. But gross profit and sales working in the right direction. The first buy was November 8th at 604 and change. We've made a second buy. Now, the first buy started very nicely. We bought at 604 and change early in the day. It had a sharp move higher, tested 624 that day on favorable drug development news. Pulled back a little bit. It's been choppy. We made a second buy. So we're down about 1.5% from the original buy. But no real concern on this chart. Trading over 4 moving averages. You can't see the 200-day because it's further down the chart. Trending into the upper right-hand corner. If we dial into the weekly chart, we can see that Eli Lilly has a confirmed weekly uptrend, trading over 4 rising weekly moving averages. It's had some very nice high volume weekly closes on the upside. And there's a lot of support on the chart, 570, 540. We've got our stop below that rising 20-week moving average. And there's been some sector rotation over the past few weeks, but really no concern with this chart whatsoever. Every time I go into a position, I always assume that there can be volatility, there can be sector rotations, there can be market pullback. So I set my position sizing and my stop placement in accordance. Finally, last position, single stock buy for November so far, Novo Nordisk, also in the healthcare sector, also in the GLP-1 space, along with Lilly. Same date, 11/8/23. Up 3.2% from the buy. Novo's got very strong financials as well. Revenue, $8.5 billion versus 7.9, 7.6. Gross profit, $7.1 billion versus 6.7, 6.5. Net income, very strong, $3.2 billion versus 2.8, 2.8. So what this shows me for all 4 of the recent stock buys are revenues going in the right direction and profits also going in the right direction. We made that buy also November 8th in the morning, 102.16, which is this bar on the chart. Been some volatility, took it down to the 50-day before it bounced and then put in a new high. Very constructive daily chart. If we dial out to the weekly chart, very similar to Lilly, 4 rising moving averages, very close in the upper right-hand corner, and it's had a lot of higher volume accumulation weeks. So once again, could always be choppy. There can always be sector rotations. But what we're seeing with these 4 charts is they're trading over their rising moving averages. They're in daily uptrends. They're in weekly uptrends. They've got growing sales and they've got growing profits. So those are key things that we look for. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you'd like to learn more about our website, please visit us at
Subscribe to the Blue Chip
bluechipdaily.com.
Daily YouTube channel for more technical and trend analysis videos and other content.